Hey y'all, hey. So, I know, I said I wasn't gonna say nothing else, but this is really to be like not upset and to just really wrap my thoughts up about this whole battle. Um like I said, if Kendrick does decide to put something out after this video, I will not be covering it simply because like I said, it seems like Drake is done. I think he should be done. Um so yeah, so I just kind of want to wrap up some things. So in the last couple of videos, I told you guys who I thought won, as far as the rounds is concerned. And I just want to kind of go through that again and just kind of give a little bit more reasoning as to why. So, again, the first thing I have is push-ups versus Euphoria. I have Euphoria winning that because push-ups might be my most hated song out of all 8 diss tracks because I don't count like that. And first person shooter. I hate. It's a good workout song, but like that top half, that split and rip your pants shit, that SpongeBob ass lyric makes me hate the entire song. I hate it. So Euphoria to me, although it's not my favorite, because the first half to me, he wasn't really saying too much. It really took him to the second half, but I thought lyrically it was better. Then we have Taylor Made Freestyle versus 616. I have Taylor Made Freestyle winning that. I have that winning because I liked the creativeness. I know a lot of people didn't like it. I don't care. I like the creativeness of using Pac's voice and Snoop's voice. And I thought lyrically he was doing a lot. Especially in Snoop Dogg's verse. He was going off. Versus 616. To me, 616 sounded like, somebody said that, this is what somebody said, and this is what I believe too. It sounded like a throwaway track for Mr. Morale, but he just kind of like cut like the last minute of it and then just decided to pop in the Drake this. That's what it sounded. It sounded like he just had he had a song that was already created and he just kind of used a punch in to put in his diss about Drake. Because if you really listen to that song, the majority of it has nothing to do with Drake. It's just him rapping. It's just him rapping. So I have Taylor Made Freestyle winning that one. Then you have Family Matters versus Meet the Grams. I have Family Matters winning. Lyrically, to me, it was much better than Meet the Grams. And also one of the biggest, outside of Meet the Grams dropping like maybe 30 minutes after Family Matters dropped, although I was asleep, so I didn't really get that same effect the way maybe other people did. But with that, the biggest thing that people were talking about was the fact that he mentioned he had a daughter. And it's seeming like he does not. So to me, that takes a lot of the sting out of that. But mostly, I didn't think he was very clever, the way that he kind of put everything together. It was kind of reminded me of Euphoria. And my favorite part of Euphoria is that I hate the way that you walk. I hate the way that you talk. I love that part. But he did that again in Meet the Grams at the end where he's like, you lied about this, you lied about that, you lied about this. But it wasn't like in a catchy way. It wasn't in a creative, witty way. It just wasn't. It wasn't. And then I have Not Like Us versus Heart Part 4. And I have Not Like Us winning. It's a bop. Very creative. Love that. So, I pretty much have it 2-2. That was my score at the end of this. I don't care if Kendrick drops anything else. It's 4 rounds. That's what I have. I have Drake 2, Kendrick 2. Most people, well, not most people, but a lot of people feel like he got swept. But as I said in my last video, I think a lot of people are caught up in the moment because the moment is insane. But I think once the dust settles a little bit and we rewind the tape, things are going to start looking a little funny in the light, right? So I had to kind of get my thoughts together. There's two things I really wanted to touch on about this beef. First thing, and I kind of talked about this a little bit in my last video, but the reason Drake needs to just bow out, be done, is because at this point, the public, like the public's opinion or the overall public, has kind of spoken in the sense of you were never really gonna win anyway, right? As I said in my other videos, you have Kendrick fans. Then you have, once you brought Pac into it, the whole West Coast. Then you have a lot of people in the industry. And then you have people who literally just don't like him. They don't like what he stands for. They don't like the type of music that he makes. So with all of that, in the court of public opinion, you lost before you started. You lost before you started. You did. And there seems to be a little bit of a public bias a little bit towards Kendrick, which I think might be the first time that this has happened to Drake, maybe before. And we'll talk about why that is, because the second part I'm going to get into is the marketing and the narrative of Kendrick, like the artist. We're going to get into that in a little bit. And when I really started noticing this shift, it felt like, towards Kendrick, like from the beginning, it was, we want Kendrick to win, Kendrick's gonna win, there's nothing that he can do. But there was like a clear shift towards, it doesn't really matter what this other nigga say, we gonna ride with you. And I'm not gonna call out any names, but there's two people in particular that I follow on Twitter, watch them on YouTube, love them. Two of them. And they're normally on it. Like when it comes to social, political views, women, all of that other stuff. They tend to really be on it. And sometimes I feel like they're even a little bit too on it. Sometimes I feel like they get offended by stuff that they don't even need to get offended by. But I found it interesting that these two people in particular, they both did videos talking about what Kendrick had said in his diss about Drake possibly being a petty and having petties around him. And I was like, okay, like fair enough, right? Fair enough. Listen, it's on the table. Let's talk about it. But I was also waiting for them to get to the claims that Kendrick was a DV abuser. And none of them touched on it. And I said, something's off here. Something in the milk ain't clean. Something in the milk ain't clean. I said, oh, yeah, he might as well just stop then. Like those two people completely skipping over that was even said. I said, oh yes, sir, there's no way you're winning this. There's no way. That's how much people really dislike you. There's no way that you're winning this. Some of the things before I get to the marketing, I feel like, of Kendrick and why we are where we are, just some of the things I saw online, and that was even brought up by, shout out to like In the Clutch, brought this up, Dante brought this up, shout out to him, love their YouTubes. I don't want to say bias because I'm tired of using that word and hearing it. But the contradiction comes in. First of all, they're both contradicting themselves about each other, right? They're both doing it. But as far as the way that it's being talked about, So, for example, when Kendrick dropped not Euphoria, when Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams, right? And Drake had put a story up saying he didn't have an 11-year-old daughter. And the first response, a lot of tweets that got a lot of likes, said, so you'll deny not having a daughter, but you won't deny the petty allegations. Okay? Fair. Very fair. He then gets on Heart Part 6, right? And addresses those allegations head on. And then it said that I didn't really want to hear him address that. I didn't want to hear him defending himself. Actually, you defending yourself this much makes you seem guilty. You see how you can't really win or lose that? Okay. So, because certain allegations have been made, now we're going into a little bit of a different territory. And to me, this is where, and I would still say that if I had to give it a winner, I guess I would give it to Kendrick, just because he does have public opinion on his side in a way that I don't think most people have had it before. And that's a win in itself. But the problem here, and this is with both of them, but specifically Kendrick, he's trying to take the moral high ground, right? And this is where I think the reason a lot of people are automatically believing a lot of the stuff that he says is because of the way he's been marketed. I watched a video of somebody reacting to the Heart Part 6, and Family Matters, and the minute that he said your crisis management team, they set up a crisis management team to hide the fact that you beat up your queen. The person said, you're lying. Like, as soon as he said it. And that's not the only person. I've seen a lot of reactions like that in talk online, like automatically, he's just lying. Like, as if y'all really know this man. And again, this goes back off to, like I said, the marketing and the positioning of Kendrick. Kendrick won, to me, this battle off of narratives, not really rapping, in my opinion. Not that he didn't rap well at times, but I feel as if he won this because he, number one, had the overwhelming support, and because he was able to flip certain narratives a certain way. And he had narratives that most people wanted to hear somebody actually say out loud. So again, back to the marketing of Kendrick. Kendrick has always not from the beginning, because at first he was trying to do, regular rapper stuff. But eventually, he started to be, I guess as we call it today, conscious rap. Started rapping a little bit differently. And ever since, even if we go to Section 80, but really since Good Kid, Mad City, he's pretty much been touted as kind of like a savior for hip hop. Like, oh my gosh, he's I'm not even trying to be funny because I believe in Jesus, so I don't want to play those type of games, but really that he was the next person to come in and really save hip hop and be that person and be that daggone light in the night and stuff like that. It couldn't be Cole, because bless you, Cole too light skinned for that, and Cole got a white mama, so people want a blackly black person to kind of lead hip hop. Not know, as much as people would say that that's not true, I really believe that's why they would never give it to Cole. If Cole was fully black, people would have no problem giving it to Cole, but it's because he's not. So that's why Kendrick. And to be fair, Kendrick, after a while, started to kind of talk more about, like, like black issues and things like that. So that's kind of why people clinged on to him so much. So with that being said, because a lot of people feel attached to Kendrick because they feel like, oh my gosh, here's this guy who's rapping and he really loves hip hop and the core of it, and he's telling stories about where we come from and our ancestors, and we gonna be all right. And so because of that, and I'm not saying that this is wrong, but because of that, people grow a certain attachment to him, right? He's not the only person. That's kind of how it works with art, right? And with any type of rapper or anything like that. But people's attachment to him comes from that. So when anything is said about him, it's like, of course that can't be true because this is him. This is Mr. Morale. How can it be possible that he would ever do such a thing? But the crazy part about all of that, and not just with him, with Drake, I'll even throw Beyonce in there, is that y'all really don't know these people. I just want that to sink in for a second. Y'all don't really know these people. So to just kind of cast aside that that's even possible, like, for a lot of people, that's not even in the realm of thinking. Ask yourself, why is that? Why do you think that's impossible? All in the marketing. Because in my opinion, just like a lot of other people, Beyonce included, Jay-Z included, these people don't care as much as it may seem like they care. It's cute. It's a bop. It's nice, to hear it. But these people don't really care like that. So, yeah. So the moral high ground that Kendrick is taking is kind of the hard part for me. Drake is not really taking a moral high ground. He knows that he can't because we all know that he's like a trash person for real. So he can't really take a high ground. The best that he does have is you beat on your wife. But you have touted yourself as Mr. Morale. However, there are a lot of questionable things. And if we go back to the being the black savior and things like that, you on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, from my understanding, I'm going off of what the Kendrick fan said, and this also goes to the line in Family Matters when Drake says you was cheating on your queen and hitting vanilla cream to boost your self-esteem. Now, I didn't know what that meant, but after reading some things, what he is saying and what was brought up is that Kendrick admitted on Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers that he was cheating on his fiance for a very long time. But he was specifically cheating on her with white women, and white women only. Okay. So, Kendrick fans' rebuttal to that is, well, that was the whole point of the song, to say that he know that he was wrong. But let's stop for a second here. If we go back to being on the moral high ground, so you admitted on your last album that although you are Mr. Blackity Black Black Black, you was running around here cheating on your black wife with white women and white women only. And yes, now you're coming to terms with that. And now you're able to see that that was wrong. But what that means is that the majority of your career, who were you really? Because while you were telling us that we was going to be all right and talking about the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, that whole time, as Drake alluded to, you was being something that you weren't. Talking about empowering black women. Of course you can say that all day. But is that your practice in your walk and your talk in your everyday life? Now, normally I wouldn't care about this, but you're the one that wants to play the moral high ground. So here we are. I think most Drake fans, if you're really a Drake fan, you know that Drake ain't shit. You know that. When it comes to the petty thing, the whole pedophile thing or whatever, because that's been something that's been said for such a long time, most Drake fans have come to terms with either A, you're not going to listen to him, or B, you came to, and when I mean came to terms with it, you look at it how you look at it, and you still decide to listen to him anyway. That's why it's not that big of a daggone deal at the moment. Because it's something that's already been out there and something that most people have already had to deal with. So, with all of that being said, we don't know these people at all. We don't know what Drake does. We don't know what Kendrick does. I think it's only fair if we question both, not just one. And that's mostly what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing us hold both people accountable. At all. Even if we talk about the Kodak stuff, when he dropped Meet the Grams, Kodak started trending because people said, and then Chris Brown, I think too, but people were saying, how can you say Kendrick's beating on his wife, but then you say free Tory Lanez, and you shouted out Chris Brown. And then Kendrick, how could you say anything about anybody being a sex offender when you had Kodak throughout your whole last album? Both valid points. Those are the type of things I like. I like calling out both people if we're going to do it. So, I kind of think that's where we are. Like I said, I think it makes sense for him to just bow out. And just kind of, go back, I don't know, go on vacation, do something. How do I think the rest of this, how do I think everything will play out going forward? I think both people will go away for a long time. I think before when Drake was like, oh, he was going to go away for a while. No, I think now he really is. And part of it, I think he's going to go away just because there's a lot that's happened. Another part of me feels like he's going to go away to kind of prove a point of how much niggas will truly need him when he's not around. And I think he just needs to kind of go back, sit his ass down. He's been out for 15 fucking years. It's kind of time to sit down a little bit and maybe think about what your next move is. Maybe you want to 444 it out like Jay-Z, but it's time to kind of evolve. And Kendrick, we never hear from Kendrick anyway. So I think he's going to have an album he'll probably drop really soon. And then we just won't hear from Kendrick for a while. But I do believe that Kendrick's going to drop an album soon. He has all the momentum and all of the eyes. Why not? So again, like I said, I do think if I have it tied, but if I had to pick a winner, I'd pick Kendrick simply because, like I said, he was able to get the public was more so on his side. He was able to really run with the narrative, and honestly kind of walk away with his hands clear free, because there's not too many people at the moment that's asking him to respond or to address those allegations. I also think, though, going forward, I really think as time goes on, and like I said, and the dust settles a little bit, I think that's going to be something that comes up. I really do. I think that's going to be something that comes up in the sense of people. I think as time goes on, they're going to stop and think and be like, actually, whatever happened with that? But y'all get in the comments. And yeah, like I said, I'm done with this. But tell me what y'all score is. Tell me what y'all think. Do y'all think there has been have you guys seen online really a very big trend towards bias a little bit towards Kendrick and him winning versus Drake? Just be honest. Get in the comments. I'm out, y'all. Bye.